Everyone, welcome back. It's Tuesday and the 8th day of October, and indeed another beautiful day in the neighborhood. In fact, I know you can't really see it, but that is the first time in a long time that weather map on behalf of the National Weather Service has had no lines, markers, or indicators anywhere in our area. It's just beautiful, clear, and just uneventful and gorgeous weather, and perfect weather for this time of year. You don't get to hear those words all that often, but that indeed is the short and sweet of the forecast. That is clear, sunny, and still on the cool side. I had 41 degrees this morning on my way to school, dropping the kids off, mind you, and we're expecting 42 for tomorrow's low in the morning. We'll rebound, though, better temperature-wise to about 75 for your hump day, and then we'll hover right around that mark for the next several days throughout the entire forecast period. The very first mention of any, well, I guess I have to mention, I really don't want to, showers and or thunderstorms would be Monday, which is Columbus Day, by the way. But that's right now. It's ever so slight and really not worth talking about. So enjoy it while it lasts. Who knows what the big next big change-up indeed is going to be. Well, tonight's program is going to consist primarily of more coverage and updates from the Senate investigation into disability fraud, the hearing yesterday, and Eric Kahn's appearance, as well as those who were brought to testify in regards to, I can't say charges levied against him, but the case being considered, I think would be an appropriate way to put it. In all, with the exception of having to go get some physical therapy on my knee earlier today, I have been sitting at a desk going over 5 hours and 7 minutes of video from yesterday's hearings, 166-page long report associated with it, and I still didn't get it all completed, and of course couldn't show it all to you if I wanted to, but we will hit a few highlights, and that will be our primary goal tonight, to get that on in its entirety. It has consumed the entire day, and it does make for some very eye-opening and even fascinating reading and attention, just simply some facts that have been brought forth throughout the investigation that are just simply stunning. We'll talk about that. Here's some words from some individuals as they testified yesterday, questions posed to them, and other details. We'll have that calendar announcements and little else, because that indeed has been my day. It is a significant report, though, and one we'll cover, I'm sure, in more depth than anywhere else you're going to find. With that said, before we get to any other announcements and our top story this evening, I've got an announcement for you. It's actually an announcement that has been handed down, referred to as a commissioner's directive, if you will, from the Kentucky High School Athletics Association. And I've got some mixed feelings about this, and to be honest, having my attention elsewhere, I've had about 5 minutes to go over this, and it hasn't really sunk in as of yet. On the surface, I'm not really excited about it. I can see their point. However, here's what I'm getting to. The Kentucky High School Athletic Association, the KHSAA, as we often refer to here in the program, especially when we're going to scores and official tabulations and things of that nature, has issued what they're calling a commissioner's directive today. What they're telling all Kentucky schools from this point further is that they are not to hold the traditional ritual post-game handshake after sporting activities. That's right. They say because of too many fights and physical conflicts that have erupted, during the likes of which. In fact, to quote the KHSAA, at least in part of the statement that was released, they say, quote, while it's an obvious sign of sportsmanship and civility, many incidents have occurred where fights and physical conflicts have broken out. The commissioner's directive went on to say that unfortunately the adrenaline and effort required to participate in the sport sometimes seems to deplete the supply of judgment available to participants. Now, the statement also cites that more than 24 fights have broken out in the past 3 years in all of Kentucky's schools during post-game ceremonies such as the traditional handshake between teams. Although athletic and high school or school officials are still discussing this, that is the directive at this hour. However, there may be some consideration should they want to take liability for anything that were to take place. There have never been any actual rules mandating a post-game handshake, obviously. There has been a lack of supervision at times, which has, of course, allowed some of those fights that it's referred to in the past 3 years. Julian Tackett, the commissioner of the KHSA, says, schools, you are on notice, and if you do allow these ceremonies, if you will, to go on, you will be held accountable. The directive says, quote, "It is hereby directed that teams and individuals do not participate in organized post-game handshake lines or ceremonies beyond that interaction that is required." So if schools do not follow this directive or mandate, if you will, they will become responsible for anything that happens. That's school administrators, coaches, and the like, not referees or officials. And they will be the ones who will be fined as a result. No specific fine or monetary judgment was issued in the directive to my knowledge. It says that if game officials who are independent contractors with the KHSAA involve themselves in post-game activity, they'll be penalized as well. As of right now, it's my understanding that it will be in the hands of local schools or school districts themselves as to whether or not they want to continue, but they have been forewarned that if they do, and anything should transpire, such as a fight or altercation or anything of that nature, they will be held liable, and only they will be held liable. Chew on that for just a few moments. With that said, I'm still putting together our top report. It's going to be a rather lengthy one, but it's certainly interesting to try to follow. We'll take you to coverage in part and with accompanying information and details, you will, of the Senate hearing yesterday that lasted more than 5 hours, in which Eric Kahn did make an appearance, as did representatives of his law office on a former basis, as they were former employees, representatives, both former and current, of the Social Security office in Huntington, doctors that were under his employ, and others. We'll get back with local announcements and our community calendar, though, first, right after this. The lights are on, the doors are open, and the shelves are being stocked every single day at the brand spanking new Red's Boot Barn in Sagersville on Route 114. Already in styles and sizes from Wrangler, Carhartt, Ariat, and more. And there's more on its way. The one and only Red's Boot Barn in Sagersville. From time and money saving services like their overdraft protection, telephone and online banking services, to finding the right home, college, or car loan, to personalized checking and savings accounts designed around your exact needs, Sagersville National Bank is still your best choice and the same locally owned and operated bank that's been looking out for your family's financial health since 1902. Sagersville National, restoring the piggy bank population one savings at a time. Faster, friendlier, family-owned Parkway Pharmacy, open 8:30 till 6:30 Monday through Friday in the new McGoffin Medical Plaza under the care of local pharmacist Jesse Rudd. To make Parkway Pharmacy your pharmacy, come by or give us a call at 349-4400.
At the end of every race, Mark Martin hangs up his driving gloves. He hangs up his fire suit. And he hangs up his helmet. Which is why he picks up his phone and opens the ER Extra app. The app shows ER Extra wait times, locations, and more. It's the one safeguard Mark Martin is never without. ER Extra at Paul B. Hall Regional Medical Center. Extra fast, extra easy, extra great.
Bailey's Furniture has done it again. This beautiful queen-size sleigh bed, media center, and matching chest are only $295 each, whether you buy one or buy them all. And you can save $400 and get a second nightstand with this gorgeous Von Bassett group. Lazy Boy rocker recliners start at $295, and Catnapper lift chairs start at $689 at Bailey's Furniture and GE Appliance Center. In recognition of our grand reopening and in honor of you, Hutch Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC in Paintsville is celebrating with employee pricing for everyone. And you keep the rebates on any new 2013 or 2014 car, truck, or SUV and on all our pre-owned inventory. And register now with absolutely no purchase necessary for our grand reopening grand prizes. $10,000 in cash, $3,000 in cash, and 300 gallons of gasoline given away to someone on October the 26th at Hutch. Sagersville Nursing and Rehabilitation Center is proud to announce the newest members of our family, Administrator Lane Jones and our full-time chaplain Mark Campbell and volunteer Richard Green, new faces with the same sincere desire as these, to assist you and your family with short-term rehabilitation solutions or long-term nursing care needs, close to home and those that you love. Sagersville Nursing and Rehabilitation. Calendar announcements for this Tuesday brought to you by McGoffin Farm Bureau. Starting off with birthday wishes to Kermit Gibson. Kermit's 64 today, with a lot of love from Brenda, family, and friends. Happy 64th birthday to Kermit Gibson.
Happy birthday.
A reminder, South McGoffin Elementary is having a special called site-based meeting tomorrow. Everyone is invited. And this is notification that North McGoffin Elementary Site-Based Council, a regular session thereof that was set for tomorrow at 4, has been canceled. It will be rescheduled at a later date. Just in, a new Life with Diabetes education class has been set this Thursday morning at 10 at the McGoffin County Health Department. As always, classes are free, open to the public. Topic of discussion this week, managing blood glucose. And to all of our veterans out there, Vietnam veterans specifically, if you're interested in participating in this year's Veterans Day celebration with the DAV Chapter 15 at the McGoffin County High School on Veterans Day, please contact Jeremy at 367-3734 or Henry at 349-5235 by the 1st of November if you can. All Vietnam veterans will be presented with a certificate of the day of the ceremony and asked to participate should you so desire. And they're still scaring out of folks up at the Sayersville Masonic Lodge Haunted Trail. Now, it's every Friday and Saturday night of October and the 31st, weather permitting. And right now, there are no signs of weather not permitting the last haunted trail you may ever attend to be open. It's just $7 per person. The first group leaves at dark on those nights. Go check it out. They're on New 460. After you turn on New 460, a few miles on your right, you'll see signs. They're at Upper Mash Fork Road. Harvest Fest at the Lakefront Church of God. That's the old Middle Fork Elementary School grounds. They're having a horse-drawn meal, working sawmill, a Dutch oven, games, food, inflatables, and more. An auction starting at 2, gospel singing. It all happens this Saturday. And a benefit for Jimmy Porter has been set for this Sunday the 13th. You can still donate if you would like to help support their auction and efforts. Entertainment by Turning Ground. You can donate up until the 11th, which is this Friday. For more information, there are the phone numbers you can call. And call us anytime. Anytime you've got an announcement, this is how you get them on the program. And they're free, as always. Oh, and excuse me, but by the way, got this one in, just now saw it. The annual Christmas in November at the Lloyd M. Hall Community Center in Sayersville has been set for Friday, November the 1st and Saturday the 2nd. If you wish to set up as a vendor, contact the Community Center Director, Susie Salyer, at 349-2313. That's the number down at the judge's office during the day, but you need to do so by the 25th. Due to limited space available, no booths will be allowed, and up to 2 tables per vendor. Funeral services for this Tuesday, the 8th day of October, as always brought to you by our friends at the McGoffin County Funeral Home. And the listing tonight we have is in honor of 48-year-old Nelson Arnett Wages of Howard Branch Road. Nelson passed away on Sunday, the son of Aline Arnett Wages and the late Langley Wages. And besides his mom, he's survived by his wife, Monica, daughter Tanika Bailey, and sons Justin, Caleb, and Alex Wages, and Leighton Hensley, sisters Pam Wages and Tammy Puckett. Visitation continues this evening. Services will start in his honor tomorrow afternoon at 1, all of which coming from the Sayersville Funeral Home Chapel. Burial will follow services tomorrow at the Burton Fork Cemetery on the left-hand fork, of Johnson Fork. We'll be right back with our top story after these words.
Hi, I'm Don McFarland. I want to be your family lawyer. If you've been injured on the job, if you're interested in getting your Social Security disability or SSI benefits, or if you've been injured because of someone else's negligence, or basically, if a car wreck has caused you to suffer pain, then pick up the phone and call Donald Wayne, 349-9000.
Whether you want to be feared or favored, funny or frightful, this Halloween, Fraser's Prater Drug Seasonal Shop has everything you'll ever need for the mood or effect you desire. And while we never know just how colorful our natural landscape will be at autumn, we are for always certain the season is vibrant inside the region's largest selection of fall and home decor. So come and see what surprises and delights await you at Fraser's Prater Drug Seasonal Shop in downtown Sayersville. 170s, 500, 570, 800, 900s, 2 seats, 4 seats, Razors, Rangers, and XPs in the hottest colors with the coolest accessories with the best financing available and rebates up to $1,000 at Connelly's, Kawasaki, and Polaris of Paintsville.
Fall is here, and it's time to rake in the savings at Home Furniture. Come in now for the largest sale ever on select bedroom suites. Prices have been drastically reduced, up to 40% off. All in-stock recliners or buy one, get one half off. Purchase a big screen TV, get a sound bar free. Seasons may change, but we'll always have financing available for everyone, guaranteed. Come in today while supplies last and take advantage of these huge savings at Home Furniture. Highlands Plaza, Prestonsburg.
Howdy, Hatfield. I reckon I'll take my pig back.
Ain't your pig.
Yeah, it is.
No, it ain't.
Yeah, it is, and I can prove it. Ma, I just sent a picture of our missing pig. Tell everybody it's time to start feuding.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
I guess ain't gonna be no feud. Real nice picture, though.
Well, put it on Instagram.
Appalachian Wireless's 4G. Great pictures, video, text, and talk. Bigger savings, better service. That's today's Appalachian Wireless.
Stop by to see how, with a guaranteed trade-in, you can drive off in this gorgeous 2011 Hyundai Sonata for $17,950 or $299 a month, or how to drive off with a little soul for $12,950 or $235 a month, or how to drive off with a lot of style in this Dodge Ram Daytona at $15,950, all at Premier Motors in Paintsville. Testimony and information revealed during the hearing, which lasted a little more than 5 hours yesterday in our nation's capital, and a subsequent report attached, more than 160 pages, 166 I believe in all, the entirety of both of which you can find on cspan.org. If you've got the time and interest, it is certainly an enlightening read and view. I have gone through both today, very lengthy, and pulled out as best I could for what time would allow portions that we would air tonight about the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee hearing testimony from doctors, judges, and administrators on a Social Security disability insurance fraud investigation in both Ohio and Kentucky. 3 senators on the committee have also unveiled subsequently a report on the 2-year investigation that implicates judges and doctors in defrauding the Social Security Administration by proving an unusually high number of disability claims. And at the center of it all was Eastern Kentucky attorney Eric C. Kahn. A summary of the report outlining how Kahn's knack for navigating the program's arcane rules, along with an aggressive approach to marketing that included TV, radio, and online advertisements, drew thousands of clients into his office looking to obtain benefits. And at the height of his success in 2010, he had about 40 employees, and for that 1 year made $3.9 million in legal fees just from the Social Security Administration, making him the agency's 3rd highest paid lawyer that year in the nation. The report goes on to say that concern about Kahn's methods first surfaced publicly, at least back in May of 2011. That's when the now often referred to Wall Street Journal article was published about his relationship with Judge David Doherty, the administrative law judge in the Social Security Administration's regional Huntington, West Virginia Office of Disability Education and Review. In the years up to 2011, the judge had become one of the agency's highest producing judges, issuing more decisions each year than nearly all 1,500 of the other SSA judges. In some years, 40% of his caseload consisted of cases just by Kahn, nearly all of which, 99.9%, were approved for benefits. At the center of the investigation, 4 ladies who were brought to testify, 2 employees, one former, I believe one still current, of the Social Security Administration office in Huntington, 2 former employees of Mr. Kahn's office also testified. Collectively, they brought forth testimony and statements indicating that whereas most judges may hold in comparison 15 to 20 randomly assigned hearings in a week, each lasting an hour or more, Judge Doherty had as many as 20 hearings for Kahn's clients in a single day and would push them through and approve them in 15-minute increments. And to assure that most of Kahn's cases ended up before him, Judge Doherty ignored the office's rotational assignment policy for new cases, and he would personally go into the computer system, into the log, and direct all of Kahn's cases after getting the information from Kahn prior to about names and or social security numbers, and then have those cases come before Judge Doherty himself, where it even grew to be such a large scheme operation and assembly line that there were even no hearings after a certain point, and they were just approved on paper and automatically. But it all couldn't be possible without physicians, doctors, to sign off on either physical or mental evaluations, which were supposed to be performed, 3 of which were called upon to testify before the Senate panel, one of which, Dr. David P. Herr of West Union, Ohio, the first called upon, who was the first of the day to take the Fifth Amendment in order to avoid incriminating himself.
Dr. Herr, do you have any corrections to the statement of facts laid out in Dr. Coburn's opening statement or to the facts included in the staff report released by the committee today?
Mr. Carver, based upon recommendation of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my Fifth Amendment rights.
Had he not passed away, without a doubt one of the more prominent keys to this puzzle would have been Dr. Huffnagel, who passed away a year or 2 ago, said to be one of the primary physicians who would evaluate, if you will, very loose term there, in Dr. Kahn's medical office, a room established in his legal firm or his lawyer's office, to the tune of 15 to 20 clients a day for a fee of $400 each, often with 10-minute examinations and sometimes apparently little to no examination at all.
And your testimony was that you saw all these patients at your office?
Yes, sir.
At no time did you see a patient at Mr. Kahn's office?
He invited me. He has everything in his office, and he invited me to come and do by his own, directly invited me to come and do the everything in his office.
But you said no.
I said no.
All right.
Because that's my professional pride.
All right. Let me go to the RFCs for a minute. If you did not perform an evaluation on the claimant's RFCs, who did?
From the Eric C. Kahn's office, sir.
All right. But you have heard testimony that nobody did those today. They were randomly filled out by his office staff.
That I came to know, sir.
Yeah. So why did you sign them? If you didn't do them, you put your signature on them.
As we know, as being a physician for many years, we send a lot of patients for the home health care, and I didn't go there, and the home health people evaluate and bring it to me. Usually we sign it. That's a routine way, and also he said this is a part of the process. Part of the process.
Now, were you unaware of the importance of RFCs in determining disability?
I didn't know that much about the RFC, sir. If I knew that one important, I would not sign as a physician for so many years.
In hindsight, did you make a mistake signing those RFCs?
Definitely, sir.
You did. Assessment.
Yes, sir.
Did you fill this form out?
No, sir.
All right. Do you know who did fill out this form?
It's his office staff. After I dictated my full comprehensive history, and it's taken by the office staff, and they brought the back to my office with this form. Then I sign it.
All right. How did you know that the information in this physical assessment form was accurate?
I trusted them, sir.
You did not, in other words, you did not know that it was accurate. You just trusted that
I trusted them, sir.
All right. Is that your testimony?
Yes, sir. I think anybody who has a significant mental health problem is going to have poor reliability.
And every patient that you saw for Mr. Kahn had mental health problems? You didn't find one that didn't?
Every single one, I can't say, but I will honestly say that the vast majority of them, yes, I did. In my opinion, they were.
How do you explain that on multiple occasions you would give one report to the Social Security Administration of a patient's condition and give an opposite report to Mr. Kahn each on the same patient?
I don't know that that ever happened.
Well, we're going to demonstrate that it did. It did on multiple occasions.
I mean,
matter of fact, the people who were looking at the information would notice. Matter of fact, we had that testimony here in this first panel, that they noticed that you get one report that would say one thing and one report that would say another.
My lawyer, Abby Loyal, sent a letter on October 7th explaining the reasons that I am not going to testify today. And pursuant to that letter, I respectfully assert my constitutional right not to testify here today, sir.
Is it your intention, let me just follow up with that, Mr. Khan, is it your intention to assert your Fifth Amendment right in response to any question that might be directed to you by the committee today?
It is, sir.
And with his entry, if you will, of the Fifth Amendment and his rights there too, he was excused for the rest of the day. One of the key judges in the entire investigation, Judge Daughtry, has not appeared yet before the Senate panel. He was just served with his subpoena as of yesterday. However, another judge who's said to be largely responsible for the entire scheme, if you will, Charlie Andrus, was there. His testimony will follow in just a second. Game time means wing time at Lee's, and that means it's time for you to try our new buffalo wings. I can't tell you our secret, but I can tell you they're marinated and then rolled in our famous, albeit a little spicy, crispy chicken batter and served up with any of our 7 delectable sauces. So get your hands on a meal or a box today at your Sayersville Lee's famous recipe, where no one does chicken like we do chicken.
One of you feel comfortable in doing that, please do.
It is, in my opinion, that it was a mass collusion between a judge and an attorney. It was something that was very noticeable from the day, within days of my employment, and it just increased. It was done in such openness. And it wasn't something.
Going back to the testimony of the 4 women, including the lady in front of you, the 2 employees of the Social Security Administrative Office and 2 former employees of Kahn's office, information was obtained and revealed during the hearing, if you will, that since at least 2006, Judge Doherty, who I mentioned before the break, had just received his subpoena as of yesterday, and they say will be brought forth to answer or plead the Fifth. We'll have to wait and see in front of the Senate hearing panel. But nevertheless, that the judge had a practice of coordinating with Eric Kahn so much to create a list of clients to be seen and thus approved that it was common knowledge and referred to as the DB list, if you will, short for Judge Doherty's name, I believe. It was a list of Kahn's clients that the judge planned to approve for benefits for that month. A monthly rendering that was to happen every month. And after deciding which claimants would be on the month's DB list, Judge Doherty would personally telephone Mr. Kahn's office, provide the list of claimants to one of his employees, and indicated whether or not they needed to have a mental or physical ailment, or at least evidence thereof, thus requiring doctors, which were also paid. One, not one of the 3 which was in appearance yesterday, but one being paid nearly $1 million, collectively, doctors altogether receiving about $2 million in payments in just a 4 or 5 year period. And then there is Mr. Kahn, Judge Doherty, and Chief Judge Charlie Andrus, who was present yesterday, who also took steps in reaction to the article that came out in the Wall Street Journal in May of 2011. According to testimony of former employees, they corroborated by documentary evidence that they had. Kahn would then purchase several disposable prepaid cellular phones. That was their method of communication thereafter. Other evidence indicated that Kahn and Judge Andrus devised a plan to discredit this Social Security Administration employee in front of you. She suspected of being the whistleblower in the Huntington office. That's Sarah Carver. And according to former Kahn and SSA employees, as well as a recorded interview with Judge Andrus, who did admit, he admitted that he and Kahn worked together to have a video surveillance conducted of Miss Carver on days when she was supposed to be working from home to try to catch her violating the office's telework policies. And after unsuccessful attempts, well, they fabricated evidence and sent it to her superiors to try to have her fired.
Not when the numbers are like this. 99.5%
Yes.
of the cases that come before that judge, who's not here, to have been approved, many for the same lawyer, and for you to say, what can I say, judicial independence. Very disappointing. Very disappointing. Judge, let me turn to Dr. Coburn.
You know, Mr. Chairman, I'm flabbergasted at what we've heard. I'm not a lawyer, Judge, so my deference is to you and the fact that you are one. Multiple times you were noticed that Judge Doherty was taking cases. You did nothing about it. You did nothing. You didn't stop it. It continued. You abdicated your responsibility as chief judge. You know, I'm sitting here thinking, you expect us to believe that judicial independence is the reason that Judge Doherty had 99.7% approval rate? Is that judicial independence or is it fraud? And if you really think it was judicial independence, I mean, do you really think it was judicial independence? Is that your belief right now?
My belief right now is that there is very little that management in this agency can do about a judge's decision to allow or deny a claim.
Well, that's a great point, and that's one of the reasons we're having this hearing. Because if you're telling us you are helpless, obviously Judge Helsper didn't think he would have been helpless with that, or he wouldn't have never sent you that email. And what your testimony basically is you were helpless to fix the system. You allowed it to run uncontrolled. You had great chances to stop this, and you didn't. And I don't know your motivations. I can't question them. But the fact is, the facts are the facts. And what we've heard here today shows somebody wasn't minding the store.
To the tune of nearly $23 million in attorney's fees just from the Social Security Administration just since 2001 for Eric Kahn. Undoubtedly more to follow. But for now, a low tonight. Let me double check. Yeah, we're still looking at around 41, 42 degrees for nighttime lows. Tonight, it's going to be a cold one. Tomorrow, we'll rebound a little better than today with a daytime high of 75, 47, and pretty much we're going to stay on that path for the next week to come. And no complaints here, except to say that I'm out of time. But undoubtedly, we thank you for being a part of it. Have a good night. We'll see you back here tomorrow for more of your news today.